of something. Start heading back. I'll tell you when to stop.
I found the schematics. I just snuck into Arthur's office, and it's worse than I thought. Arthur is trying to sabotage Lightmatter. It's not just poisonings. I found the schematics for his experiment on the core. He's not trying to improve it. He's trying to overload it. If he manages to do that, we are all going to die. I am not going to let Arthur ruin our future. I have to get to Virgil. Arthur is after me. Whoever finds this, if it's not too late, tell Virgil that Arthur needs to be stopped.
All right now, pay close attention. It seems that when it comes to you, nothing can ever be simple. That elevator was your quickest way out. But I have an idea, and it involves making this partnership mutually beneficial. You are going to be my assistant. Try to contain yourself. You will be moving deeper into the facility through our research and development department. Before I allow you in, I would like to make something abundantly clear. Be careful with what you touch, and no photographs. I'll tell you more about the plan as I work out the details. Do not make me regret this, and remember to do exactly as I say. So, assistant, this is where we develop our photon connectors. Everything you see here is confidential, expensive, and fragile. Don't treat it like you treat my elevators. Or bridges. Behold, a photon connector. Ah, a beam of light so magnificent, it almost looks like matter being created before you. Fascinating, isn't it? The connectors suspend photon crystals over electromagnets. As long as they're in line of sight to what I call a mother source, they create a powerful beam of light matter. A beam so powerful that it produces a surplus of energy. Although the connectors are just prototypes for the core, they display the very essence of light matter. Assistant, I think a lot about the future. In these labs, I've spent years testing the prototypes under various conditions, all to ensure the success of the core. You see, although the photon connectors have 100.2% conversion efficiency, I've reached 107% with the core. I achieved critical mass. And Arthur wanted to stop at the prototype. Madness. He was so certain that the laws of physics were unbreakable. That is where we differed. Where he saw laws, I saw suggestions. In that tunnel, we exposed the photon connectors to wind, water, and hail. These tests ensure that the core, no matter the weather, will survive. You are no crystal, but you should be able to handle a couple of rounds through it. Excellent. You have overcome an obstacle and been baptized in the waters of Lightmatter. I can almost imagine the stench of journalist fading away. Ah, the core. No matter how many times we see it, it leaves us in awe, doesn't it, Assistant? This is everything Lightmatter Technologies has built towards. Every power cell, every connector, all of them combine to create this. By using photon power cells to collect the energy from a large-scale beam of light matter, I built a perpetual motion machine. Facts are facts. The energy is clean, infinite, and is about to usher in the next scientific revolution. Others will stand on my shoulders and see further than they have ever before. That will be my legacy. We will fix the side effects. Let us ignore the quakes for now. Imagine, at the center of a city, a core, providing sustainable and renewable energy to millions. That is the future we are striving for. Assistant, I now have the plan. To get you out, we are shutting down the core. When I left earlier, my path down there was blocked. And since I'm limited by my body, but not my mind, I wasn't able to get around the obstacles. As you have the opposite problem, you'll play a part in this. The core is very delicate, so I'll be up here in my control room managing the shutdown. As my assistant, you'll be the one pulling the lever. When I told James of this plan, he seemed jealous. You might be wondering why there are photon connectors inside an office space. Well, morale was low because of the rampant hair loss, so I implemented a photon fun hour. During their breaks, employees were allowed to play with the connectors. Productivity rose by 12%. So, James just called me. He's worried that since you've been weightlifting pens all your life, you have too frail a constitution to pull a lever. Let's see if he's right. Assistant, you need to know what will happen after the temporary shutdown. Once the core is off, the quakes and shadow anomalies will subside, allowing you to walk your fragile little head out of here. But more importantly, observing the shutdown will provide me the information I need to fix the side effects permanently. The core will repower, and it will shine eternally. Do you want to hear a secret? Aperture Science has an artificial intelligence prototype. They tested it by having it create the perfect cake recipe. It succeeded, but the first iterations of that recipe used neurotoxin as the primary ingredient. As a human being, I'm worried. that agility and complete disregard for your own safety, one could easily mistake you for a cat. I like cats. You see, light matter accelerates photosynthesis and makes them grow at an incredible rate. Imagine applying this technology to cultivation throughout the world. Famine, mass deforestation, floods, all of these relegated to history. Light matter will not only brighten the world, it will give life. Lux, sit. Don't eat that. Come here. Where is that toy? There it is. Lux, who's a clever cat? Yeah, you are. Now fetch. Good boy. You know, assisting me with the core will be the single most important thing you will ever do in your life. Around the world, hundreds of millions of people aren't connected to the power grid. We think ourselves so enlightened, but we are surrounded by a sea of darkness. To bring light, sacrifices must be made by all of us. Assistant, by now you must understand the significance of light matter. So it's about time you learn how Arthur almost destroyed it. 3 months, and a lot of hair ago, Arthur went to the board of directors behind my back. He proved to them that light matter was causing minor side effects. It was humiliating, but I solved the problem by installing the decontaminators. That is when Arthur started poisoning people. Later, that vermin of a man had the nerve to use that as further proof to the board. While we were investigating the matter, one of my employees discovered his plan to overload the core and destroy the entire facility. Luckily, James and I stopped him before it was too late. Arthur paid for what he did, but nothing can redeem betrayal. With more finesse, assistant. Well, at least you still have your legs. Let's see. Yes. You are moving into my newer, more experimental labs. Communication systems and cameras are non-existent. Now, that area is dangerous, so stick to the exit signs. We're in this together. See you soon.